from Oz Commercial Sewing Machines. Today we're going to have a quick look at the Prosew PS model 1985. Now, I believe this model's now been superseded, but we've still got a few of these machines around, so I'll do this video. Now, we're going to do it just going through the buttons and some basic features of this machine. So it is a stepping motor machine, which means that there's no reverse lever. Everything's done with the stepping motor that's underneath the head here. I will flip it up and show you what I mean. Okay, so while it's sitting up like this, we'll go through a few of the things underneath it. Okay, so this is your oil tank. It's all incorporated into the machine. This is your main stepping motor. It's the only one in the machine, and this does the thread trimmer, it does the reverse, and it also does the foot lift, all in one unit. Okay, so I'll put this back down again. All right, so starting up here on these buttons, this is our basic parameters button. So we push that and it takes us into our parameters. And then you can get out by just pushing the P button. The OK button is the set button. So once you've programmed anything in, you just push the OK button and that sets it. Okay, the plus and minus button is to go up and down in the numbers here. So this one here is your selections. Okay, so we'll go left to right, and obviously plus is up and minus is back down, and we'll OK, and that stops the blinking. All right, so we'll turn some of these features off so that we can show them one by one. And that one. So basically that's a dumb machine there now. The only thing that we've got is we're in straight sewing mode and we've got needle down position. These numbers up the top here, they are determining the stitches for the start tack and the end tack, but because they're not on, they're not having anything at all to do with what we're doing here. So we'll see if we start up the top. This top picture is better known as the clamping. It's down here. It operates this for when you've got the thread trimmer on. So if we turn that on, okay, you'll see this picture come up here. So that's going to clamp the thread at the point of trimming. And the bottom picture, which is a slow push or a long push, that is your slow start feature, which means it's going, I think it's programmed to do 2 stitches at a slower speed before you go into flat out. However, determined by however far down you've got your foot pedal pushed. I think it's set at the moment for around 300 stitches a minute at the slow start, and then it'll go into, depending on what your maximum speed is and how far down your foot is. Okay, so this one here is your thread trimmer. At the moment there's nothing there, so if we can turn that on, so your scissors now come up on the screen. So this and this, the pincher and the trimmer work in conjunction with each other to determine how long the tails are as well. That's also controlled by this, but the pincher helps to regulate. Okay, this is your condensed stitch. So what it does, or it's a secure stitch. So if we turn this on, you can see you can do a start, or you can do an end, or you can have it at both ends. Now what that does is it stitches in a very short stitch length. I think it's about a 0.5 of a millimeter. Pre-programmed, I think it's 3 stitches. It's either 2 or 3 stitches, and you can change that. It locks the stitch before it does the start tack and the end tack. Okay, so I'll just do a quick demonstration on that one for you. Okay, so if you look here, okay, you can see it's actually 2 stitches. There's 2 tiny little holes before it starts sewing. Because we haven't got the back tacks turned on, you can see those. And at the end as well, okay, you can see those 2 little stitches there as well. So that's just anchoring the threads. All right, so the next one is this one. This is a one-shot. We'll go through what that one does in a minute when we come across one of the other buttons. We'll go through these function buttons here shortly. Now the short push is your needle position. You'll see it change over here. So there's needle up and there's needle down. Okay, you can leave that in needle down because when you heel back, the needle will come up after it trims anyway. So it's up to you, and it also allows you to to pivot if you need to. I'll show you a few things there as well in a minute. Okay, the long push button here, that actually, when you heel back or operate your knee lift, the thread tension unit opens, but at the moment, what this button does, it's not opening at the moment, but what this button does, if I long push, you'll get that little picture up in the top of the screen there. And if you look over here, and I'll heel back, you'll see the tension discs are now opening. So that allows the tension discs to open so you can pull thread through when you heel back or when you knee lift. Okay, it is on a timer. But it will allow it to open. So that's that one there. This one here, that is going back to straight sewing mode. So this arrow here, and that comes into effect when we're in any of these ones over here. This one, I've still got to look at that one. Okay, now we'll go down here now. So this is our start tack, and there's 3 steps that you can have to this one. You can go backwards only, so it means you've got to start in a bit and then it'll go backwards 3 stitches. So it's on B. It says it's B there, so we're only doing B, which is 3 stitches in a backwards direction. So I'll do this. So if we start in a bit, okay, and you'll see that we're going to go backwards and then it'll just start sewing. Okay. All right. And now, if we go for 2, okay, that is forwards first, then backwards, then start the seam. Okay, we can do the same with the end. Now it's on C, so pretty much what C is a forwards only. So when you finished, like now, if I heel, it'll do 3 stitches. That's it, and then it'll trim. So that's forwards only, and then if we do this, it'll do a more secure tack. So I'll just do this is the most common tack that you use anyway. So it'll do that. Okay. And then at the end, if we heel back, it'll go backwards, then forwards, and then it'll trim. Okay. And that's what you get there. So that's your 3 stitches, and at the end, that's your 3 stitches there. Okay. So the next button, now also you can do a double tack. So what it does is forward, back, and then it'll sew. And the same at the other end. So what we'll do now is we'll put those start and end tacks back to the way most people use it, as just a 3 stitches forward, 3 stitches backwards, and then into the tack, into the seam. Sorry. Okay, so the bottom one, that is a securing stitch. We don't worry too much about that one. Next one along, this one here on the bottom, this allows you to have foot lift only or knee lift and foot lift. So you can turn those both, the knee lift on or off. Okay, now let's go up to here. We'll go to M. So what M allows you to do, this is where you can do your 4-sided shape. I believe that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-sided shape. Then we do a 9-sided shape. And then you've got P1 to PF, which is F is 15 and 1 is 1. So that's a 15, anything 15 sides. Okay, and then we go back up to there. So I'll show you how this works. And what I'll do is I'll add in these functions here. This button here, what this one says is at the end of the seam, it will do the back tacks, and it will lift the foot and it will cut, but the foot will stay up, so you're ready to slide your next job under. This one here says that as soon as you stop sewing, the foot will lift, so it gives you the opportunity to pivot. So in doing this 4-sided object, if you're putting a label or something on, this is a great little option with these options as well. So I'll put both of those on. Okay, you can see that that foot is now lifted, and it'll sit there on a timer. It will lower itself shortly. There we go. Okay, so we've got both of these on. The long push is the pivot. The short push is the foot up and trim. Okay, so now what I'll do, we're going to go 15 sides by 15 sides, so it's going to be a 15-sided square. I might actually take those down to 12 just to make them a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'll change these ones as well. And we'll push OK to that. So you can see all the way up the top as well, we've got E and F. So the back tacks are A, B, C and D. Then we go into E, F, G and H, which are each of the sides of the object. So at the moment we've got E and F, which is E is that side, F is the bottom side, G is that side, and H is the top side. So E and F is now 12, G and H are now 12, so we're ready to go. And we've got our pivots on, so I'll just move in a little bit. Now, here we go. What this picture here is, it means it's a one shot, which means all you have to do is touch the pedal to get the machine sewing, and it will sew until it reaches the stitch count of 12 stitches. Then it will automatically stop and the foot will lift. Then you can pivot, then you touch it again and it continues and so forth until you get to the end. So I'll show you. So you can turn that on and off as well if you want the control It's just a matter of pushing that button. Okay, so it's pivoting. Now you can move it round, touch the foot again, pivot, touch the foot again, pivot, and touch the foot again, and it's finished. And that's what we came up with right there. Okay, we've got a four-sided object with stitch count of 12 stitches per side, with the start tack and the end tack down at this corner. Now all we do is turn off that one and the pivot button, and we're back to where we started. Yep. Okay, so pattern sewing, if we push a pattern, okay, so you've got all the different types of patterns. So what we'll do, where are we? Yes, this one. So if we go pattern number 1, for instance, and what we'll do is you can see it's doing a pattern now. Now these are all built in, but they are editable. And then we're finished. So what you can see, that's the pattern that we've just sewn. Okay, so we've got, it changes the stitch length obviously, so we've got 2 or 3, I think it's 3 there, and then you got one single stitch of about half, and it just continues on, so it's a decorative thing. All right, and there are 10 of them. So if we go to number 2, okay, you can see that that's pretty much just a nice reinforcing stitch with a tiny little stitch in between. Okay. Then we'll go to number 3. It's just a matter of going up and down the stitches. Instead of doing stitch length, you're changing the pattern. So stitch out number 3. You can see what that does for you. Okay, so we've got 5 really short stitches and 1 long stitch. So yes, we are doing a pattern sewing, and it's all pre-programmed into the machine. Okay. And to get out of pattern sewing, all you need to do is push the pattern and you're back to where you started from. So that just about covers all of the different buttons. So what we'll do, I'll show you the maximum stitch length. Okay, so we've got a 6mm stitch length on this machine. Okay, so you can see that it's fairly large. And then it does a really nice short stitch. So if I go down to, you can go all the way down to a 0, which is where if you want to put on a like a free motion quilting, like a ruler foot or something, and do some free motion work on this machine, you just take it straight down to 0 and the feed dogs will just bounce. You just got to set the height on your foot so that it glides smoothly when you're moving your fabric in underneath the foot. But that is possible. Okay, so if we go to a 0.5, I'll give you an idea of the speed. The top speed of this machine is 4,000 stitches a minute, which is it is fast, but for one of these, you're about 1,000 stitches a minute slower than some of the bigger machines. All right, so let's do this. Okay, and we have quite a nice short stitch there. You probably will need to adjust the tensions going through the range of the stitch lengths, but that was just straight up. So most people will use a 2 to a 2.5. A lot of quilters that I know use a 2.2. So that's pretty much where we leave it. It's got the same bobbin winder assembly as the other machines, and we've done videos on winding bobbins, so that's not an issue. The presser foot pressure function, it's just the winds in and winds out depending on how much pressure you need on your feet. Okay, so you've got your locking nut and your main screw. So I think that about covers the 1985. Thank you for watching.